Welcome. It is my privilege to be here as we begin the celebration for the naming of the DeLon and Elizabeth Hampton Hall. This is a very special occasion for Purdue, and I am personally honored to have been asked to be a part of this event. I'm Emily Pierce, a junior in the School of Civil Engineering. When people ask me why I chose civil engineering, I think back to my 7th grade trip with my mother to Juarez, Mexico. We built a cinder block home for a family. After we finished, one of the children, 16-year-old Juana, came up to me and gave me her hair clip. It was that clip that taught me one of the fundamental principles of civil engineering. Velocity is derived from position. In other words, how fast you travel depends on the conditions around you. Using that clip for motivation, I decided to pursue a degree where I could make a difference and build a better world for those around me. Thank you, Dr. Hampton, for providing us with an optimal starting position for studying, building relationships, and growing as leaders here in the DeLon and Elizabeth Hampton Hall. Dr. Hampton, I understand we are dedicating this building in part to your mother, Elizabeth. To me, this building already embodies many characteristics of a mother. From inside these walls, I have received guidance, reassurance, inspiration, and the occasional, well, let's just say push in the right direction. A special thank you to DeLon Hampton, Elizabeth Hampton, and all of those who have helped us understand the fundamental principle of civil engineering. Velocity is a derivative of position, even before we really knew what it meant. Before we get started today, we have several introductions to make. First, our acting president, Dr. Tim Sands. We are joined by Purdue trustees Tom Spurgeon, and John Harden and his wife Vicki. Executive Vice President for Business, Finance, and Treasurer Al Diaz. Acting Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Provost Vic Lechtenberg and his wife Grace. We are joined by several vice presidents, along with the president and CEO of the Purdue Alumni Association. Would they please stand and be recognized? Also joining us today are several deans. Please join me in recognizing them. Our first speaker was recently selected by her peers as one of the top 10 Chief Advancement Officers in Higher Education for Development for her leadership and impact on the industry. Last fiscal year, she led our university in the second best year in the history of Purdue philanthropy, nearly $3 million. Please welcome Vice President for Development, Lisa Calvert.
Thank you very much, Emily. Everyone, welcome. We are so delighted to have you here today. And I must say, this morning when it was raining, we were a little nervous, but the sun came out and the sun is shining in honor of the Hampton family. So we are delighted that you are here with us today, because it is a very special day, because we are celebrating the DeLon and Elizabeth Hampton Hall of Civil Engineering. This building is being named after DeLon and his mother, Elizabeth, in the recognition of his philanthropy to the Purdue School of Civil Engineering. We are delighted to have Dr. Hampton with us, as well as his wife, Sonia. We are delighted the two of you are here. And we also have more than 30 family and friends with us here today, sharing this very special occasion. I'd like the family and friends, please stand so that we can recognize you. We have family members and friends from the East Coast, the West Coast, Chicago, Dallas, and everywhere in between. So thank you for being with us today to share in this very special occasion. Dr. Hampton, it is very touching to all of us that you are honoring your mother in this very special way by naming a facility, a landmark facility here at Purdue. We are delighted to honor both you and your mother because we will always remember the two of you for your generosity, your vision, and commitment to the power of family, education, and engineering. It's often said that the total impact of philanthropy is impossible to calculate because it's the gift that keeps on giving. It will continue to impact the lives of our students and faculty for generations to come, if not centuries. So, where do we go from here? Where we're going is that the work being done in this facility will change the world and individuals throughout the United States and across the globe. We are very fortunate to have this facility here. So Dr. Hampton, on behalf of everyone at Purdue, I want to thank you for your incredible generosity because you are touching the future of Purdue and its students and faculty through your generosity. Purdue was founded and our history was determined by a great philanthropist. Our future is now being shaped by another great philanthropist, such as you, Dr. Hampton. You recognize the power of philanthropy to change not only our university, our nation, and our world. Dr. Hampton, you are among the greatest Boilermakers. We thank you very much, and we are indeed grateful. So very grateful. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce one of our great deans here at Purdue University. Leah Jamison is the John A. Edwardson Dean of Engineering. She is a member of the National Academy of Engineering, past president and CEO of IEEE, co-founder of Purdue's award-winning EPIC program, and currently chairs the boards of trustees for the Anita Borg Institute for Women in Technology and the board of directors for the IEEE Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, our Dean, Leah Jamison.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank all of you for being here today. This is a wonderful day for Purdue, for engineering, for the School of Civil Engineering, and a great day, I know, for all of you who are members of DeLon's family, his friends, to come together and celebrate such a meaningful moment as the dedication, the naming of the DeLon and Elizabeth Hampton Hall of Civil Engineering. Dr. Hampton has demonstrated exceptional leadership and generosity in supporting the School of Civil Engineering with his $7.5 million gift. The gift and the naming we celebrate today will have an impact on civil engineering at Purdue for generations to come, and we're honored to have DeLon Hampton, an alum of such talent, distinction, and his late mother, Elizabeth Hampton, to have those two names permanently associated with Purdue engineering in this way. There's an energy and excitement about Purdue engineering that is spurred on by imagination, creativity, and continually asking the question, what can be? This description of engineering, that engineering is about what can be, was offered by another Purdue engineering alum, one whom we have honored and remembered with great affection the past several weeks, Neil Armstrong, at the dedication of Armstrong Hall 5 years ago. Through gifts like the one that we honor today, we look forward to an even greater future and myriad opportunities for Purdue engineering, and in particular for Purdue civil engineering, to open brand new frontiers of what can be. And while we celebrate today and look ahead, we're also looking back with gratitude. Today's also a special highlight in the year-long commemoration of the School of Civil Engineering's 125th anniversary. This was kicked off in April of this past year, and there are events carrying throughout the fall. And a lot has happened in the past 125 years. From the beginnings in 1887 to today, the School of Civil Engineering at Purdue has made a difference at Purdue and around the world. The School of Engineering is the home of Purdue's first female graduate, Purdue Engineering's first female graduate in 1897, our first African American graduate in 1894, and more recently, our first engineering honors graduate in 2010, and our first international co-op student in 2011. Some impressive feats have also been connected with Purdue School of Civil Engineering. Alums or faculty have served as the chief engineer for the Hoover Dam, design engineer for the Golden Gate Bridge, which is also this year celebrating its 75th anniversary, and on the international commission that stabilized the famously leaning Tower of Pisa. Today, study in Purdue Civil Engineering is highly sought after by students. U.S. News & World Report consistently ranks our school in the top 10 in the country, most recently number 6 in graduate rankings and number 7 in undergraduate rankings. So my thanks and congratulations to Rao G.S. Govindaraju, who is the Bowen Engineering Head of Civil Engineering, and also the Christopher B. and Susan S. Burke Professor of Civil Engineering. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Melba Crawford, who is a Professor of Civil Engineering and of Agronomy. She's Engineering's Associate Dean for Research, and she also holds a Chair of Excellence in Earth Observation, who served as the Interim Head of Civil Engineering for the past year. I know that GS and Melba and the entire civil engineering community of faculty, staff, and students join me in expressing our deep appreciation to Delon, who has now left an indelible mark on civil engineering and its home on the Purdue campus. The Delon and Elizabeth Hampton Hall of Civil Engineering has never looked better than today, with its new name and the support of Delon Hampton to cement its great heritage and bright future. Home not only to civil engineering, but also to construction engineering and management, earth, atmospheric, and planetary sciences, health sciences, engineering's honors program and global engineering programs, 8 of our stellar student organizations, including the Purdue Engineering Student Council and the Alpha, meaning number 1 anywhere, chapter of the National Society of Black Engineers. The naming of this building for Delon Hampton will challenge our students and our faculty daily to strive for the excellence, the impact, and the dedication that we see in Delon. He himself is an important part of civil engineering's impressive history. He earned his master's and doctoral degrees in civil engineering from Purdue in 1958 and 1961, respectively, and he received an honorary doctorate from Purdue in 1994. He was an assistant professor at Kansas State University, a professor at Howard University, and served as head of soil mechanics research at the University of New Mexico's Eric H. Wang Civil Engineering Research Facility in Albuquerque. He is the founder and CEO of Delon Hampton and Associates, and I hope that you have, before the formal event here started, enjoyed watching this incredible slideshow of the facilities where Delon Hampton and Associates has been the lead firm to construct these. It's a top design firm based in Washington, D.C., specializing in civil, structural, and environmental engineering, and construction and program management and planning services. He's a fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, a member of the National Academy of Engineering. He's a past president of the American Society of Civil Engineers, and during his tenure, he proposed the creation of ASCE's Outstanding Projects and Leaders, or OPAL Award, which was approved by the ASCE board and has been given each year since 2000, and I would note parenthetically, 4 times to a Purdue alum. Delon's honors include the Edmund Friedman Professional Recognition Award, the James Laurie Prize from ASCE, and the Distinguished Engineer Award from the National Society of Black Engineers. He's also been named a Distinguished Engineering Alumnus and an Old Master by Purdue University. He's been involved professionally on the board of directors for the Greater Washington Board of Trade and as a Malcolm Baldrige Award Overseer for the U.S. Department of Commerce. Did you all know all this? You know, those of you who see him and love him. Amazing list of accomplishments. And has served as the treasurer and director of the Center for National Policy. He is indeed, in the words of the College of Engineering Strategic Plan, a shining example of our extraordinary people having global impact. DeLon has said, and I quote, "There's a great big wonderful world out there waiting to be conquered by people with drive, imagination, and a belief that through hard work and dedication to one's chosen profession and a desire for service to humanity, one can make a difference." DeLon, you have certainly made a difference, and with this generous gift, you have strengthened the foundation of the School of Civil Engineering, allowing it to build to even greater heights in its next 125 years. On behalf of all of Purdue Engineering, I thank you. And it's now my pleasure to introduce the leader of Purdue University, Dr. Tim Sands, acting president. He has served as provost since April of 2010, leading all of Purdue's colleges and schools, the regional campuses, and related academic activities in coordination with the Office of the President. He's now leading our great university in preparation for the arrival of our president-elect, Mitch Daniels, who will join us in January. Please welcome acting president of Purdue, Dr. Tim Sands.
Thank you, Leah, and thanks for all of you who are joining us here today for this celebration. It's a landmark day for Purdue University, the College of Engineering, and the School of Civil Engineering. The College of Engineering is a cornerstone in Purdue's history in its current position as one of the world's top research institutions. Our civil engineering alumni are leaders in their field, as you have heard from Leah. And today we're gathered to celebrate one of the noted alumni, DeLon Hampton, whose $7.5 million gift is setting the course for Purdue's civil engineering for the 21st century. This gift opens up a world of possibilities for our faculty and students. It will help respond to student needs, research needs, facility needs, and it will help us, more importantly, respond to the needs of people. It's hard to imagine where this might lead. We really can't imagine where this may go in the future. We recently lost one of our great Purdue engineers whose sculpture is nearby, and you heard reference to Neil Armstrong. He said, "Engineering is a profession which leaves its imprint on our society in countless ways." Think of how civil engineering impacted people in society in the past 100 years. Dams, interstate highways, long-span bridges, rail transportation, water, electricity, and the list goes on and on. Our lives would be very different today without the advances of civil engineering, and frankly, they'd be a lot more difficult. President Eisenhower said, "Engineers build for the future, not merely for the needs of men and women, but for their dreams as well." The civil engineers of today at Purdue University will use the impact of DeLon Hampton's generous gift to open a world of possibilities that meet the needs and the dreams of people in the 21st century. That is the power of philanthropy. Thank you, DeLon, for your generosity and leadership. It's my pleasure now to present DeLon with a very small token of our gratitude. DeLon, would you please join me at the podium? Right here? Yep. All right, it's heavy. I'll hold it for you if you'd like. Okay. Well, we get a little picture. It is a crystal locomotive, Boilermaker Express. We'll get that back to you. Thank you. Thank you, DeLon. I'd like to ask a few others to let me go ahead. DeLon, would you like to make some remarks? Let's do that first.
Thank you very much, President Sands. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased that you're here this morning to give us an opportunity to put forth before you our gift to Purdue University so that you can all enjoy it for the future and that students to come will be able to learn and follow Neil Armstrong and others from Purdue in doing things for our nation. President Sands, I'm pleased to be here today along with my wife Sonia, family and friends, to honor the mother who brought me into this world, Mrs. Alzady Lewis Douglas, the mother who raised me, Mrs. Elizabeth Lewis Hampton, and the excellence of Purdue University. I am humbled by this occasion. My mother Elizabeth is actually my aunt. My birth mother, Mrs. Alzady Lewis Douglas, died from my birth. But before she expired, she demonstrated the wisdom beyond her 25 years of age by eliciting a promise from my father, Charles Douglas Sr., that upon her death, he would give my then 5-year-old brother, Clarence Everett Douglas, to my uncle, R.D. Douglas, M.D., and his wife, Willie Mae Douglas, and me to my aunt, Mrs. Elizabeth Lewis Hampton, and her husband, Euless Hampton. Mother Alzady's wisdom is evidenced by the fact that my brother went on to become an outstanding physician who married and fathered 5 children, 4 of whom are living today, married and have outstanding careers in law, medicine, and business. Their children are also on the road to success, and they're here with us here today. The mother who raised me, my aunt, Mrs. Elizabeth Lewis Hampton, took me to her home in Chicago, where I was raised in a poor inner-city neighborhood on Chicago's South Side, along with my cousins, who I grew up knowing as my sisters, Veronica Hampton and Catherine Hampton. My mother Elizabeth and my uncle Euless Hampton divorced when I was in the early stages of primary school. Subsequently, my mother Elizabeth raised me alone, a daunting task for an uneducated woman living in poverty. In the process, she taught me how to take care of myself and our dog Jack while she was away working. I was a latchkey kid. Equally important, she instilled in me a strong work ethic and a belief that I could reach any goal that I sought as long as I was willing to work hard and play by the rules. That work ethic, along with help at critical times from mentors and friends, led me here today. Among the keys to my success in life are my Purdue education and the friendships that I made here. The late Professor Eldon Yoder was the major key. We worked well together, and I benefited greatly from his wise counsel. For example, he encouraged me to enter Purdue's doctoral program, which had not been in my original plan. I acquired many other dear friends while here, among them Professor Emeritus Milton E. Haar, a fellow classmate who taught me the pleasures of classical music and fine wine, and encouraged me to learn to read the Russian language. Another is my former graduate dormitory roommate, Dr. Henry Moses, with whom I enjoyed many hours of stimulating conversation and gained much wisdom. My fellow civil engineering graduate students were a close-knit group. Some of us played bridge at lunch, and we also formed the intramural volleyball team, which won the intramural championship here at Purdue University. Subsequent to my graduation from Purdue, I was fortunate to find many helpful friends and colleagues, but time will permit me to mention only two: Mr. James A. Kaywood and Mr. Elijah B. Rogers. Without Jim Kaywood's vision, encouragement, and support, my firm, DeLon, Hampton & Associates, would probably not exist. Jim put the idea for DHA into my head and devoted much time and effort towards helping make our firm a success. He envisioned DHA as it exists today, a multidisciplinary firm having a wide variety of expertise. Elijah B. Rogers, who's with us today, came to our firm following a highly distinguished career as a city manager and corporate executive. His management skills are extensive, and he streamlined our management processes. For example, subsequent to his coming to DHA, we received a bank line of credit, $3 million bank line of credit, which we have not used in over 20 years due to his financial acumen, which helped bring us to this day. It has been a wonderful life, and I am happy to have this opportunity to provide some recognition today to the lives of my unsung heroes, my birth mother, Mrs. Elzadie Lewis Douglas, and the mother who raised me, Mrs. Elizabeth Lewis Hampton. Today is principally for Mother Elizabeth. At a future moment in time, I shall appropriately honor my other unsung hero, my birth mother, Mrs. Elzadie Lewis Douglas, a young woman with wisdom behind her then 25 years, who on her deathbed, as a result of complications from my birth, made decisions critical to the future of her two young children. Unfortunately, she did not live to see the value her sacrifices wrought via the contributions of her progeny. Thank you for being here on this very special occasion in the lives of the Lewis, Douglas, and Hampton families and Purdue University. In closing, I want to express my deep appreciation to Purdue University for this opportunity to honor my mothers. Special kudos are due to Mrs. Amy Noah of Purdue's Development Office and Dr. Leah Jameson, Purdue's Dean of Engineering. Without their hard work, dedication, and perseverance, this day may not have come. Finally, I want to express my great appreciation to my wife, Sonia, for the love and support she's given me over the years, and for all the efforts that she spent in getting our family and friends here today. Thank you for this opportunity, and hail to Purdue.
Thank you, DeLon. And before we get too settled, I'd like to ask a few individuals to come up and join us for what I think will be a very special moment. Dean Jameson, Professor Govinda Raju, Bowen Head of Civil Engineering, and Lisa Calvert, Vice President for Development. And, of course, you as well. Please, DeLon. Drum roll.
Dr. Hampton, speaking for all of the students who will benefit so much from your vision and your generosity, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, our Boilermaker hearts. Thank you all for joining us. Please stay and enjoy the reception. Hail Purdue!